So now more than ever, pricing your home correctly the first time is of the utmost importance.
Yeah.
Long gone are the days of naming your price and getting $500 or $1 million over the asking price, right? So being smart and realistic about pricing is important.
Yeah, and I think it can be tough for people to understand pricing in our market here. I mean, a lot of urban areas or newer towns have tract homes, and it's kind of easy to understand the comps.
Maybe have more comps within that neighborhood.
They even have more
sold.
sales. I mean, so we generally have to go look for an entire year in an area to find enough comparable sales to really give a good sample size of what you have. But here in Santa Barbara, our infrastructure is really old, and from house to house, you can have a different floor plan, you can have a different lot size, you can
Different
have architecture, and
different year built by 40, 50, 60 years.
Exactly. So, comparable sales definitely helps support a value, and, you can get a good idea of what this square footage might get or what this type of lot is, but it's not one of the leading factors when we talk about, price per square foot. A lot of people want to use price per square foot, and it's that doesn't quite work as the sole value determination.
For sure. I mean, you could have a home that sold for $2.5 million 1 month, and the next month the house next door sells for $4 million. Yeah. There could be that wide range and variability in the price.
Yeah.
In the same exact street.
Yep.
It's really hard. So comparable sales do play a role for sure, but sometimes, like you said, they're not the final indicator of what home could sell for.
No, I think in our market, it's, a really emotionally based purchase. And so you also have to factor in market conditions. And in today's market, buyers are a lot more discerning than they have been. And so you have to understand that, if you have a seller that's into the nostalgic pricing of COVID, but you have a bunch of buyers who are really discerning about what they get, there's going to be a wedge in your strategy there. And even if you are basing your home on a comp that sold recently, if it is, within that COVID time, you're overpricing your home. And any agent that's representing a buyer is going to say that price is out the door. That's not a comparable price anymore.
Yeah, but still on the flip side too, it doesn't necessarily mean you can't get close to that price, but maybe not pricing that high is the best overall strategy in order for you to get the highest price, if that makes sense. Well, so listing aggressively.
There's a difference between the listing price and the sales price if you have an agent with good strategy.
Yeah, and I think right now it's always been great to list aggressively. COVID aside, because you couldn't really go wrong in COVID. But as an agent, it's always been great to list aggressively.
Yeah.
To attract the most attention possible. Ultimately, if you're a homeowner, getting the most amount of attention and the most amount of buyers interested in your home is essentially what you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, going into property condition, I feel like now we're hearing a lot more on Broker Tour that agents are saying property's got to be dialed in.
Yeah.
If the floor plan is unique or quirky, if the condition isn't quite up to par, if the staging isn't there, or maybe it is, you're hearing that across the board throughout tour that realtors are saying buyers are wanting the properties to be dialed in.
Yep. Yeah. If buyers are going to be paying the prices that our homes have gotten to, I mean, people want to know that they're getting something good, that they don't have to put hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of work to make a floor plan functional, or work on the sewer lateral or something like that. So, we saw a really high priced home that was only 3 bedrooms, and it was gorgeous, but it was 3 bedrooms for a home that's, upwards of $5 million just seemed really unrealistic for them,
Yeah,
even though
it was gorgeous, right? And it literally
gorgeous.
offered everything, but to spend that much money and only have a 3-bedroom house was hard for our buyer to swallow. And that house ended up closing, and it ended up selling for, I think, $300,000 or $400,000 under the last listed price that we followed. So again, it goes to show you that buyers are really maybe a little more discerning in this market.
Yeah, that house would have sold like that during COVID and
Yeah.
would have put the addition to make it work for their family and, been gone.
So I think buyers now are just being a little bit more, like you said, picky, discerning, or maybe even cautious.
Yeah, absolutely.
So going into wrapping that up with property condition, making sure you are being smart with the way you spend your money to get your property ready to market is going to be, very important.
Yep.
Investing in the right things to maximize your ROI is important in this market.
Mm-hmm.
So leading it into marketability,
Yeah, I think, look, there's only so much you can do with your property condition, your market conditions, and your comparable sales. But what we do have control over is the marketing of your home. And it's really important now to make your home as accessible as possible, as marketable as possible, which means doing the right prep work, staging your home completely, allowing us to maximize your home's exposure publicly in publications, on social media, in hosting really unique open houses. I mean, you really need to be covering all the bases and showing people what it's like to live in this home and giving buyers the confidence to give you a great offer. And so, if you either have an agent who's not doing the most on marketing, or if you're in a situation that doesn't allow for maximum marketing, you do need to address that in your pricing.
For sure. And at the same time too, though, going back to pricing, it's really important that you don't miss the mark either, because your agent could be doing all these things we're talking about as far as marketing is concerned. But if you just missed it on price and your agent's doing their job on marketing, you're really ruining your shots at a great first impression and negotiating from that position of power. You're going to put yourself in a position where you're having to take price drops, and buyers know there might be some vulnerability there.
Yeah.
And they might know that there might be some softening in that price, or maybe they could offer less. And I don't ever like to be in that position.
No, I think all of these things are contributing factors to coming up with the correct price that's going to maximize the eyeballs on your property, ultimately creating demand and competition and making people submit the strongest offers with the best terms.